What is going on, everybody? Danny Tudon with JoJo back. Line 'em Up podcast. We're breaking down the Chicago Cubs. I'm really excited, man, to get into this. We're gonna start breaking down a lot more of these teams. Videos coming out in rapid succession. Maybe
Yeah.
we gotta get into it. There's only a couple. There's like a couple. What is it? July 24th when opening day. So we're gonna get into those videos. We got the Cubs up now. Who they got leading off, JoJo?
All right, so 2020 Chicago Cubs. At the number one spot, you got Chris Bryant, their baseman, righty, guy who has a lot of power, especially leading off.
Let me say something about that real fast. I like how David Ross is kind of implementing this. He's the ultimate players manager. He was just with these guys in 2017, and I really like the way he does this. Like you were saying, I like that Chris Bryant is a good base runner, and he does have a lot of power coming at you from the right-hand side, especially against left-handed pitching. Just crushes the fastball. He had a really good – he struggles with the curve, and he swings and misses at it a lot. Decent against the changeup, but he doesn't have much power there. But overall, I just love him at the top of the lineup.
Yeah, this is a guy that could, he's a good base runner as well. He's solid in the field. This is a guy who hits 260 with men in scoring position, 305 with men on base as of last year's stats. So this is a guy who could really hurt you. You put some men on base or, a couple guys at the bottom of the lineup, they just get on. And now, your top of the lineup comes up, and now they got a dangerous top of the lineup, So just building off that.
I like what they got up next, too. And I like him in the 2-hole.
Yeah, building off that, number 2 is Anthony Rizzo, first baseman, big lefty. Projected to hit 284 this year. Another guy who kills with men in scoring position, hitting 318. So this is a guy that's, a real tough out for them.
He also he gets on base a lot, gets hit by pitches a lot. Last year he had a really good year against the slider after having 2 poor years versus it. He had a lot of power versus it last year as well. The changeup is his worst pitch. So if you're seeing a pitcher that has a good changeup, maybe try and stay away from Anthony Rizzo there. He's just a guy that, I love how David Ross, is going right, left here. Because Chris Bryant's more of a guy that's going to be able to have a lot of power versus lefties. Well, Anthony Rizzo has a lot of power versus righties. And he's just a great hitter against right-handed pitching.
Yeah. There goes to the 3 spot. Number 3 spot, we got Javier Baez, shortstop, another righty. Projected to hit 273 this year. Yeah. Projected to hit 273 this year. I think this is a guy that does have a lot of power for sure, especially in that 3 spot. I think he's very solid in the field. He's very athletic. He's capable of making all those plays. And he's a great defender. So I think he's just another weapon for the Chicago Cubs for sure.
Yeah, and he can also swipe a base, too. One thing that kind of jumped out to me last year was he had a 39.5 strikeout percentage versus 4-seam fastballs last year. That is way too much. He's a guy that – you see Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, they're guys that really hit the fastball well, but Javier Baez was striking out almost at 40% versus fastballs last year. I thought that was kind of crazy. Sinkers, on the other hand, he had insane power, great hitter versus sinkers. Back-to-back good years versus the curveball with power. And, I just love how the first 5 of this lineup is really, really strong.
Yeah, just another quick thing on Javier Baez, too, is he hits 304 against lefties. So he's a lefty killer.
Yeah, he's pretty average versus righties, but that lefty killer, great defensive shortstop, he's a great player.
Yep.
Who we got next?
The 4 spot, we got
This is going to be
Kyle
the DH,
Schwarber.
too, right?
Yeah. Yep, DH. Kyle Schwarber, DHing. Another big lefty. This is a guy who is not good against lefties. I know we talk about that stat a lot, but this is a guy who only hit 229 against lefties. I think he only had like 4 or 5 home runs. So he struggles against lefties. He's an average hitter, even against righties, hitting like 255. He's only projected to hit 250 this year. So, I mean, it's baseball. Anything can happen. We'll see.
He does have like you were saying, the thing about him against righties, he has insane pop versus righties, man. And that's kind of that's what we're looking out for. And I like that he's DHing this year. He says, I read a report that he said he would like to play the field, but I mean, you ain't playing the field, bro. Like, just
Yeah,
the
no.
ball, man.
Yeah. And as a DH, I think last year he didn't get too many at bats as a DH. He was more of the left field.
Because he was playing. He had to play the field in the NL, but now they're playing in the, they're doing the universal DH. So that's definitely something. This is a
we'll
team
see what he does. I mean, men in scoring position, he only hit 233, so he struggled a little bit there. Men on base, though, he hit 307, so that's definitely a bright spot for him, and we'll see what he could do this year.
Yeah, one more thing. He obliterated sinkers last year, and he was awful versus the curveball. Who they got next, man?
Wilson Contreras. Catcher, righty. Yeah, he's in the 5 spot. Here's a guy who absolutely kills lefties. He hits 320 against them. I believe he has like 10 home runs against them, couple RBIs. This is a guy who can really help them out in that 5 spot. He's solid behind the plate, solid arm.
Yeah, great arm, man. Like he's an elite. He's such a good defender behind the plate. Like you were saying, and like you were also saying, like he's a guy that crushes lefties. All their righties are pretty much guys that crush lefties and are, Chris Bryant's pretty good versus righties too, but I mean, so is Contreras. And Contreras also he has great pop versus righties, so that's kind of nice, obviously. He had a bad year last year versus the fastball with not much power. He hit the curveball really well with a lot of power. Strikes out at the sliders. A good fastball and a slider will get him out. So if you see a pitcher that has those 2 good pitches in the repertoire, look for him to struggle. Like you were saying, strong arm behind the dish. He's a guy that strikes out a lot. A lot of these guys strike out a lot in the Cubs, but that's just how they are. They hit home runs too.
Yeah. That leaves the 6th spot, Jason Hayward.
This is where the lineup kind of takes a dip, guys.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I agree.
First 5 is really good, man.
First 5 is very solid. I think once kind of similar to the Atlanta Braves lineup. I think once you hit that 5 spot, the 6th spot really, the lineup does start to dip a little bit. But we have Jason Hayward in the 6th spot. So right field, lefty, projected to hit 257. This is a guy who's not really doesn't really hit well against lefties, only hitting 205 with like 2 home runs, 10 RBIs. So he definitely struggles against left-handed pitchers.
He's awful versus lefties, man. This is a guy that I think is going to be kind of part of a platoon. We'll see how David Ross coaches him up, but he's not playing against lefties. He's so bad, but against righties, he is decent. Good pop versus righties. He's only really good at hitting fastballs and sinkers, but he's always going to be a good base runner, solid defender, still good, pretty decent arm out there, right? Getting older, but still.
Yeah, definitely getting older. The 7th spot we got Ian Happ, left fielder, switch hitter.
Their first switch hitter.
Yeah, their only switch hitter in the lineup, I think. Projected to hit 242 this year. This is a guy who's also pretty young. He's only 25 years old. So there's definitely some potential there. Against lefties, he's only hitting 233. So, again, he's struggling against lefties.
Good pop versus him.
What was that?
He's got good pop versus the lefties, though. He does strike out a ton, though.
Yeah, he does strike out a lot.
That's how it is, though. Yeah, he's one of those guys.
Men on base, he's hitting 345, and men in scoring positions, he's hitting 314. So this is a guy at the bottom of the lineup that could be dangerous if these kids, if these people really are getting on in that, 4, 5, 6 spot, and then he comes up, it could be very dangerous for them.
This is also a guy that spent most of 2019 in AAA, so he has limited at bats that we're basing these numbers off of, but last year he killed sinker with a lot of power. Amazing versus the slider and the curve with a lot of power, but limited at bats, guys. So he didn't have a great year versus the fastball. So a lot of these Cubs players kind of struggle against the fastball. So that's something to pay attention to.
Yeah.
Who's projected to be next? Another platoon player. Yeah.
8, we have Jason Kipnis, second base, lefty. Projected to hit 250. This is a guy that is getting up in age.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is a guy I can't believe he's still playing.
Yeah, he's getting up there in age. 33 years old, I believe.
Yeah, it seems like he's 39. I can't believe he's only 33. But 33, I guess he's low-key the new 33.
Yeah. No, he's 33, but, for baseball, he's been around the league for a while, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. You want somebody in the lineup,
Yeah,
him, Jason
especially
Howard.
the playoffs. Yeah,
You're right.
exactly.
Jason
That's why.
Hayward,
That's why.
him.
What's his name brought him in? I bet Ross. He's kind of like
So you have a guy with that experience, that good captain, leadership mentality. He only hits 245 against lefties, about 244 against righties. So he's kind of leveled out in the same. Guy projected to hit 250. So again, he's solid for the bottom of the lineup. He's solid in the field. He is a decent second baseman, pretty good defender, so can't really complain too much there. And hits about like 270, 269 with men in scoring position, men on base. So at the bottom of the lineup, like I said, I think he's going to be more of take on that leadership role. This year.
I agree with you. He's a nice locker room guy, but
definitely,
or clubhouse guy, I guess. But in what I'll say about Jason Kipnis, I'm not sure how long it is until Nico Herner, their top prospect, who's a second baseman / shortstop, is going to replace him. But as for Jason Kipnis, he's a guy that killed sinkers with a lot of power last year. Decent versus curves and four seams. Doesn't have much power versus the curveball though. He's only really good versus righties. He's not very good versus lefties. That's why you might see him in a platoon role with Nico Herner, but Nico Herner is a guy that, a good contact hitter, great glove, just a young guy that you might see get a chance. But it's 60 games. I don't know what's going to happen, but you are going to see expanded rosters, so we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah. That leaves the last spot. Number 9, Albert Amora, center fielder, righty. Projected at 266. This is a guy who could definitely take a bag here and there. Pretty quick in center field. Again, not a lefty hitter. Only hitting 213, and I believe only hitting last year 245 or 246, something like that against righty. So, again, a guy who could definitely get on base for you. Not the best hitter, but solid defender in center.
Yeah, that's the thing about him. He's a good glove in center. That's why why he's out there. He's horrible versus lefties.
Yeah.
What I wrote down about him. Yeah, go on.
One big stat just about him is I especially with this team I was bringing up how they are with men in scoring position, men on base. This guy only hits 179 with men in scoring position, and only 190 when men on base. So, that's part of the reason why he's probably also at the bottom of the lineup. But, it's just a big stat where, he's definitely not more of that clutch hitter that you want up at certain times.
Yeah. He can't hit the breaking ball. That's his problem. He can't hit breaking pitches. So he's a guy that can hit a four seam. He can hit a changeup with a little bit of pop and stuff like that. Mostly just versus righties, but he can't hit breaking pitches. So yeah, that's unfortunate for him. But they got some guys that may platoon. They got guys they could work around, in the rotation, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And in this 60-game season, you got to play the hot bat. I figure. I mean, baseball is kind of a game of I don't know, ups and downs. You got to ride the hot streaks.
Especially with it only being a 60-game season.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You can't afford to have slumps, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why they got the expanded rosters, I think.
Exactly.
You got to take a seat, bro.
Now
we get into the pitching staff, which the pitching staff, I was taking a look at it, and I'll take a look at it again right now because
I think their top 3 pitchers in this rotation are pretty tough. Their bottom 2, I'm not going to say are bad. I don't think that at all. But I think they're an average.
You know what it is about this rotation? They're all veterans, and I think that kind of plays to their advantage in this shortened season. You're not asking these guys to go out and throw 200 innings. You know what I mean? And these guys have had injuries. Yu Darvish hurt his elbow a couple years ago.
Yeah. Well, that's the first guy that they have as their number 1 pitcher is Yu Darvish. Big righty. This is a guy who's coming off a very good year. I expect to see more good things from him this year, especially with, like you said, that shorter season, him being more experienced now. Like you said, that whole rotation is kind of experienced. So I think that's gonna, believe it or not, I think it's gonna help them.
Yeah, like you said, he had a good year last year. Well, no, think about him. He had a really good year in 2000. Or no, yeah, my bad. No, he had a really bad year 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years.
Had a good year last year because I think he got traded, obviously from the Rangers to the Cubs. It took him a while to settle in. I think he's good now though, and we'll see what happens.
In the 2 spot in the rotation, they have John Lester, another lefty. Again, what they did with this rotation also, just like similar to that lineup, they have that righty lefty thing going on in the rotation, which is, I think, always good to have. Lester was another one, man. He's coming off a solid year. He's tough on the mound. He's tough out there. So him and Darvish, I think, are going to be their main guys.
Yeah, and they know how to pitch. All these guys know how to pitch, man.
Again, another guy who's been around. He's been around for a while. He's around with the Red Sox, so another guy who's been around. And he's got that experience. He's got that leadership.
I think.
Yep. And that goes right into the 3rd spot with Kyle Hendricks.
You guys.
Yeah. So Kyle Hendricks is another big righty. Again, after Hendricks, I think their last 2 pitches kind of dipped down a little bit.
Hendricks has a great curveball too, though. That's a
great curveball.
He's got a really good curveball, though.
In
terms of quality of pitch. He's a guy that last year. Let me see what he was doing last year, bro. Their bullpen's pretty good too, man.
Yeah.
So I think in the 60 games, they'll be pretty good.
They're gonna be tough. They're gonna be tough regardless. They're gonna be tough regardless. With that, especially
I really like their lineup, man. I really like their lineup. We've been talking for about 17 minutes now, and I think we kind of want to make these videos a little bit shorter. Try and get them out as soon as possible. We're gonna try and get the what do we got? We got the Reds up tomorrow. I'm a big fan of the Reds. I'm a big fan of the Cubs, man. This team is really good. What do you think going forward, bro?
No, just like you said, man. We're gonna try and bang these videos out, pretty quickly, especially with the season approaching.
Yeah, it's coming up quick.
This was the 2020 Cubs, and then we got the Reds hopefully coming out tomorrow. So we'll be dropping that video hopefully tomorrow if everything goes well. If not, the latest Tuesday.
Fuck it. We got it tomorrow, bro. Chill. We got it tomorrow. But listen, if you made it this far on the video, I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you guys fucking with us. We're going to keep doing these videos, man. We're just doing our thing. I appreciate you guys. For real.
Definitely. So feel free to subscribe.
Yeah. Hit us up in the comments. We'll comment back and shit, for real.
Yeah, let us know. Let us know what's going on. Any opinions, anything.
Tell your friends.
Any questions, anything you might, have. You let us know. But
for real.
Hopefully, we'll be posting another video tomorrow. So we'll see you guys then.
We're trying to make some money this MLB season. Follow along. Right. We're giving you guys the information. Trust. We're going to give you guys the picks. We're going to make some money. Just stay with us. It's been real, y'all.
All right, guys.
See you later.